Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the video. I want to thank everybody for their support the last few videos, as well as you guys' criticisms. I've had some amazing discussions and learned a lot. But to those of you that are not a part of the great criticism and amazing discussions I've had in the comments below and below, or the support, why are you here? Why are you sitting here hate watching somebody who is passionately discussing what they think is interesting about theology, or why are you just gonna sit here and call me ignorant instead of pointing out the what I got wrong and trying to challenge my beliefs? The whole reason I've come up with this channel is so that way I could have my beliefs challenged, and so that way we could have good discussions with different backgrounds and different faiths, and try to come to a conclusion as to where these things come from. But I will not tolerate the just you're ignorant, you're stupid, you're this, you're an abomination. I just won't tolerate it. I've had to remove multiple comments because they were just kind of disgusting and not productive. I'm all for freedom of speech, no matter what. But to just put down the comments that I'm an abomination and I'm ignorant, and fuck you, basically, it's not acceptable. There's a lot of comments that I still kept that call me ignorant and blind leading the blind, and I actually am fine with those. But to sit here and just attack me for having a discussion and genuinely wanting you to challenge my discussion, I want to learn. I want to see what your perspective is and your idea of theology and your idea of God. I want to understand that. But calling me ignorant and stupid and an abomination, you're not helping your case. You're not making me want to be Christian anymore. You guys are ridiculous. To the other Christians in my comments down below, I love you guys so much. The religion is beautiful. Your guys' faith is beautiful. I love it. I love the serious discussion, and thank you so much for your criticism and your compassion and your support. But to the other people that are just absolutely hateful and spreading some crazy idea, in my opinion, you are blaspheming the Bible just as much as if I I was to sit here and claim I had perfect knowledge of the Bible, which I don't. I've had multiple people call me blasphemy upon me, which is ridiculous because I don't claim to know any of that. I claim to have read some of it and trying to understand it, and that's what these discussions are about. I want to understand your guys' perspective as much as possible. I want you to explain to me why a arbitrary, non-violent, non-victim sin determines whether or not somebody has eternal punishment. A lot of people have had really kind ideas like, oh, well, it's your relationship with God and it's considered an abomination because of this. And you know what? Respect. But why is my relationship with God determine whether or not I'm burned for eternity? That seems ridiculous. And I mean, if you're going to sit here and claim my God is ruthless and my God is absolutely my God is strict to the rules, and if you don't follow those rules, you go to hell. That's fine, but you're claiming that he's infinitely loving and perfectly just. I don't see those as being infinite love or perfectly just. I see that as being a hateful father, a very hateful father of what he created, and I don't understand why that would be the case. But anyway, regardless of all that, I want to come to a place of agreement with everybody in this video that I want genuine discussion and I want to learn as much as possible from you. Even if your criticism is somewhat wild, you got some crazy takes, I want to hear them and I want to try to understand them. And to those of you, by the way, that have put it down criticism, really long responses full of criticism, I'm not talking about you. Just because I haven't gotten to you doesn't mean I don't think that you're awesome and full of compassion and that you're really just trying to get me to learn. I just really am having a hard time finding time to come up with these multiple paragraph responses. And some of you guys ask the same questions over and over that I have already responded to in other comments. So it gets exhausting. But I do seriously support your criticism, and I do try to read every single comment. I do try to understand where you guys are coming from. And I want to respond to all of you. My main point is you are doing your religion no favors by spreading this hateful rhetoric or this idea that you know. In fact, if anything, I think if you claim to know and have the absolute idea on what is right and what is wrong, I think you're blaspheming the Bible because there's only one person or one thing that has the ability to really judge people, and that is not you. That is my brother upstairs. To sit here and claim that you know exactly what is up and you know for a fact that I'm going to hell, that's not faith. That is ignorance. That is absolute ignorance. For people that have beautiful faiths, and part of that faith is homosexuals aren't going to end up in heaven, I'm not talking about you again. You're not claiming to 100% know and think that this is exactly what everybody should follow no matter what. If that is you, though, I'm talking directly to you. You have a ridiculous ideology. I do not have this idea that I know everything and that I want everybody to live the way that I live. That would be ridiculous and void of diversity, which, by the way, God created. God created diversity, but he hates it. I want help explaining these things rather than getting attacked in the comments. Or for the people that feel like I'm attacking their religion and got defensive, again, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. And I want to grow. I want to be able to come at these videos from a critical perspective rather than a upset one. Because yeah, I've had some conversations that genuinely get me upset and genuinely get my emotions running. And that's a human thing. And that's something that is honestly you cannot blame me for. Like it's insane. There's some of the stuff that I've heard. People still think homosexuality should be a crime, like punishable in the court of law. What the fuck? You're mad. You are actually mad, and you have such a ridiculous, strong ideology, and you are not willing to change it at all, and you're not even willing to listen to the other side. And those are the people that sit here and just put hate in my comments, and it gets me frustrated. And so when I come out with another video and I'm passionate about this, I'm like, this is confusing to me. I don't understand this. Why is this the case? And then you just continue to put hateful rhetoric to my comment. You're proving me right. Obviously, I'm not doing a good thing by being overly passionate and by expressing my opinion in a somewhat negative format. But for you to come at me accusing me of ignorance and stuff like that, you're not listening to my video and you're not listening to my critical points. Again, I can't blame you. You're probably defensive. I think we both are. I'm defensive on this idea that people think that homosexuality should be a crime because I know people that still to this day have gotten brutalized for their sexuality. And it's disgusting to me. And it's not something that is very Christian or something that, in my opinion, God would approve of. And to have this idea that homosexuals are an abomination and that they are doomed to eternal damnation, which, by the way, there's a lot of people on this planet, probably most of them, that are going to end up in hell. God created his children so that most of them would be eternally burned. How is that not self-righteous to believe I'm just a part of this perfect group that isn't going to get eternally burned? Because I tell you what, there's a lot of religions that think you are. If you're a Christian, Islam's pretty much think you are for sure going to hell. And it's not a fun one either. So how would you feel if they were constantly in your face about how you're going to go to hell and you can't do nothing about it and you don't have a good relationship with God and you're sickening, even though you think you're living your life righteously and appropriately? I think that's just as freaking ridiculous. For anybody to come out here and push their religion on other people and to claim that other people are going to be burned for eternity is very cult-like behavior. And I'm not going to sit here and call Christianity a cult because Apple is a cult according to a lot of guidelines. But the difference between Apple or any other company, right, is there's a harm continuum when it comes to cults as well. And my point also in that video was that suicide rates for young homosexual men are 7 times higher than the average population when they're in a religious household. Not otherwise, but only when they're in a religious household. That is a terrifying, terrifying study. That makes me sick to my stomach. And to me, that's harm. That's a lot of harm. That seriously is bad, and we need to try and avoid that. And I think that shaming homosexuals, especially when they're young and in a vulnerable state, you are contributing to a lot of harm. And that's my only point. I love you all. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you all so much for your time and your criticism and your love and support. Please have a good rest of your day, and thank you so much again for taking your time out to watch my video. Bye.